Have you been sitting around thinking about starting a YouTube channel? Feeling like you have a lot to say and would love to get on here and make a name for yourself? Yeah. I get you. I've been there. For new YouTubers in the making, get your hands on my Get Started checklist. I'll hold your hand through everything you need to know to just get started already. It's 100% free, and you'll be posting your first brilliant video by next week. Check it out at the link below. All right, let's get started already. I don't know about you, but prior to 2018, I had never even heard of Stormy Daniels. Had you? It seems like this woman can't stay out of the headlines now. Like, 2018 was 5 years ago. 5 long years ago. And now here we are still talking about her and about all her alleged payoff and about the potential for the former president to be charged with a crime for said payoff. And I can't help but think about how often Stormy Daniels has been spoken about while not being in the room. And sometimes that room is like a congressional hearing. And well, I feel like we talk a lot about women who have been written off as blonde bimbos here on this channel, not really on purpose, but I seem to have a certain affinity for blonde women, not sure where that comes from. But it's also not out of defensiveness on my part. While I am extremely blonde, I have never once been mistaken for a dumb blonde. I think the resting bitch face kind of evens the score. All right, we recently talked, for example, about Pam Anderson. We also talked about Britney Spears back when her conservatorship was making big news. I will always side with the bimbos and the blondes, okay? We're all clear on that. And I think that's why I've been drawn to Stormy Daniels' story. Here's this woman who, through a single confession, has toppled extremely powerful men, but also at the expense of her own personal safety and well-being. So let's talk about Stormy and her role in one of many looming indictments against Trump, and what it means to use your body to topple major political figures. And while at 31 I am officially out of Leo DiCaprio territory and therefore out of the range of women likely to topple elected officials in the near future, I do hope you will take some notes. Because Lord, it doesn't feel like our votes matter much in this country, but maybe our p***s do still have some power. Roll the intro. Thank you to my sponsor for today's video, CuriosityStream. CuriosityStream is the best place to find and watch documentaries about science, history, technology, nature, travel, and so much more. And y'all, I love documentaries more than I like fictional stories. I said it, truth is stranger than fiction, and you know that I'm here for the kooky stuff. CuriosityStream has exclusive, award-winning films and shows that you can't watch anywhere else, plus the deepest collection of the best documentaries from around the world, deeper than any other streaming service out there. CuriosityStream adds new shows every week and is one of the very best deals in streaming. CuriosityStream actually has a new special documentary premiering called CSI on Trial. Now, we've talked about the flaws in our justice system, including in evidence used at trial here on this channel. And if you're into that, you will love CSI on Trial. This Curiosity original 6-part series puts forensic science to the test with explosive results, exposing flaws in common CSI methods used in real-life criminal cases, with the emotional stories of the wrongly convicted who are now free and the believed innocent who remain behind bars. Curiosity is the entertainment brand for people who want to know more. Available to watch on all your favorite streaming devices, on the web, on TV, through Roku, Xbox, Smart TVs, Apple TV, Amazon Fire, and more, and on all of your mobile devices, and it's available worldwide. Go to curiositystream.com/Leeja or scan the QR code for unlimited access to the world's top documentaries and nonfiction series. And for my fans, you can use the code Leeja and you will save 25% off. It's already one of the most affordable and best deals in streaming, plus with my code you get an additional 25% off. Okay, what a deal. So click the link below or go to curiositystream.com/Leeja and save 25% right now. Thanks, CuriosityStream. So who the f*** is Stormy Daniels? Let's start there. Her real name is Stephanie Gregory Clifford. She was born on March 17th, 1979. Happy belated birthday, you Pisces queen. She's from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. She began stripping as a teenager and went on to star in and direct numerous adult films before crossing over into mainstream media, appearing in such classics as 40-Year-Old Virgin, Knocked Up, and the Maroon 5 music video for Wake Up Call. She's also a bisexual queen, I learned, okay? Bi visibility. We love this. Anyway, it was during this time, in the early 2000s, when that fateful meeting between Stormy and Trumpy occurred. In 2006 at, fittingly, a golf tournament in Lake Tahoe. She describes the affair in lurid detail in her book, Full Disclosure, saying that it was among the least impressive sex she's ever had, lasting 2 to 3 minutes, which sounds about right. Trump denies the tryst ever occurred, of course, which is convenient for him because if it had, it would have happened right after the birth of his 5th son, Barron, who was his first child with his 3rd wife, Melania. Yikes. Yikes. Stormy did continue the affair, however, potentially because she wanted a spot on The Apprentice, but it eventually fizzled out. Later, in 2011, Stormy did an interview with In Touch Weekly about the affair in which the tabloid gave her a polygraph test to confirm the story. But then, Trump's lawyer and longtime fixer, Mikey Cohen, which, I don't know, if you're a lawyer being described as a fixer, it's really not a great look. Anyway, Mikey steps in and he threatens legal action against the tabloid, so they never published the article. Cut to 5 years later, Trump is somehow running for president, and Stormy is shopping the story to national news outlets. Mikey Cohen steps in once again and pays Stormy $130,000 in hush money, which he secured through a home equity loan, which, at this point, my dude, if you are taking out home equity loans on behalf of your own clients, that is fucked, my friend. That is really fucked. Anyway, he pays her off on Trump's behalf $130,000, and she backs out of the story. Which gave me pause, because I do wonder what would have happened if she had said no to the money and went forward with publishing the story right before the 2016 election. As much as I want to be like, come on, Stormy, take one for the team, I'm also unconvinced that it would have made any difference at all to the people who support him. And what's more, now we have this fun looming indictment over the payment that she accepted. So maybe in the end, she made a win-win decision. She gets $130,000 and then just sits and waits for the other shoe to drop. He couldn't be indicted for having a consensual affair while married, but he could be indicted for paying her off with hush money. Is Stormy Daniels a strategic fucking genius? Maybe. The next year, in 2017, according to the Justice Department, Trump paid Mikey Cohen back for that hush money with interest for a total of $420,000 through the Trump Organization, calling it legal expenses, and delivering it in monthly installments of $35,000. Okay, and then in 2018, shit hits the fan. In January, the Wall Street Journal published an expose titled, "Trump Lawyer Arranged $130,000 Payment for Adult Film Star's Silence." Pretty shocking allegations for a sitting president. In response to the article, Mikey Cohen immediately was like, no, there was no affair, okay, first of all, but yes, I did pay that woman off, but Trump never paid me back. And Trump's like, I don't know what they're talking about, I don't know about this payment, I don't know why Cohen did it, I don't know where he got his funds from. But in April, the feds had enough dirt on Mikey Cohen that they raided his office and hotel residence for evidence. Probable cause to believe he committed a crime or a crime was committed and the evidence is in his office and hotel residence. That's what that means. They had that. A month later, in May of 2018, good old Rudy Giuliani appears on Fox News and tells Sean Hannity that Trump did reimburse Mikey for the $130,000 payment, but he says that in his expert legal opinion, because the payment was funneled through a law firm, it was legal and did not amount to an illegal campaign contribution. Trump later denied any reimbursement. And I love that about our legal system. As long as you properly funnel the money, it's fine. No crimes. All right? By August, Mikey Cohen had pled guilty to numerous felonies, including unlawful campaign contributions made in the form of hush money to a woman who otherwise planned to speak publicly about an alleged affair with a presidential candidate, thereby intending to influence the 2016 presidential election. Like, he fully and utterly threw himself and was thrown under the bus to protect Trump's neck. After his arrest, Mikey Cohen points his finger at numerous head honchos in the Trump Organization, including that he had personally conferred with Trump about the hush money, and Trump told him to get it done. That same month, August 2018, Trump gets on Fox and is like, okay, yes, maybe we did pay Stormy off. But the funds came from Trump's own personal wealth, not his campaign, and he didn't know about the payment until later on. Then in February of 2019, Cohen testified before the House Oversight Committee that the payment he made to Stormy, Trump knew about it. He knew about the scheme to hide where the money came from, and he knew about the scheme to reimburse Cohen. Mikey Cohen says he knew about everything. And then Mikey Cohen is sentenced to 3 years in prison starting in May 2019, and he was released early in November of 2021. Like, we're so deep into this story that prison sentences have already been fully served. And then the case of the Stormy Daniels payoff just languishes Investigations are closed, district attorneys come and go, but then Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg is elected. And then in November 2022, he moves to revive the investigation into Trump, and by January 2023, a few short months ago, the Manhattan District Attorney's Office begins presenting evidence and findings before a grand jury tasked with determining whether criminal charges can be filed against Trump for his role in the payoff of Stormy Daniels, which is coming to a head now as we wait to hear from that grand jury about whether or not they plan to press charges. During this whole time, Stormy Daniels has agreed to make herself available to Manhattan prosecutors as a witness, but other than that, this single act by this woman, or I guess multiple acts if you count the sex first and then the hush money acceptance later, has lived on for years and years. Powerful politicians are talking about her and her money in the most important institutions in our country, the Manhattan DA, the House of Representatives. Stormy Daniels has become a household name. But that's not it. In the years since the story broke in 2018, Stormy Daniels has been fighting legal battles of her own. Specifically, she filed 2 lawsuits against Trump in that time. One was a lawsuit seeking to have the court void a non-disclosure agreement she signed with Trump related to the $130,000 hush money she received. The court eventually found that agreement unenforceable and ordered Trump to pay her legal bills of around $44,000. Great. However, she also filed a federal defamation lawsuit against Trump for, what else? A tweet that she claimed defamed her. The tweet stems from a claim Stormy made that a man in 2011 had threatened her to keep her quiet about the affair with Trump. Trump then tweeted that her claim was a total con job, so she sued him for defamation for that statement. Now, I'm pretty sure most lawyers would probably have said, maybe not, or like, nah, it's not a very strong case, because Stormy Daniels is probably a public figure in the eyes of the court, and the bar for public figures to bring defamation lawsuits is really high. And a single tweet calling a claim that she made a total con job is frankly not that strong. And I think most lawyers would have said, let's not bring this case. But not her lawyer, not Michael Avenatti. Michael is one of the many lawyers who fly too close to the sun and end up crashing and burning for it, much like the lawyers we discussed in my recent video about why lawyers go bad. He's one of the bad ones, okay? He worked on many political campaigns and did some impressive legal work throughout his career. He opened his own law firm, started working on some really high-profile cases, and by 2017, his law firm was in bankruptcy, evicted from their offices, subject to numerous lawsuits for unpaid fees and taxes, and in November 2018, he was arrested on suspicion of domestic violence. By July 2019, the California State Bar petitioned to bar him from practicing because of his embezzlement of $1.6 million in funds from one of his clients. Yeah, so this is the guy that filed this Stormy Daniels defamation lawsuit, which Stormy Daniels has later come forward and said was expressly against her wishes. And that sucks, because she lost. She lost and the court ordered her to pay Trump's attorney's fees, on top of her own, which at this point amounts to around $400,000 that she now owes Trump. In the meantime, in 2019, Stormy fired Avenatti, and very soon after that, he was arrested for wire fraud, identity theft, and embezzling $300,000 from Stormy Daniels. The embezzlement and identity theft happened in connection with a book deal Avenatti was negotiating on behalf of Daniels. In June 2022, he was sentenced to 4 years in prison for those crimes, on top of the 2.5 years he was already serving on a separate fraud conviction, and he has since been charged with numerous other financial crimes, including defrauding other clients and fraud related to tax documents and banking information used to obtain loans and purchase a $5 million private jet, among other things. In December 2022, he was sentenced to another 14 years in prison for those crimes. And he still owes Stormy that $300,000 back. Though who knows if she'll ever see it, because there are literally so many other people with financial claims against him and money that he owes. So add Mikey Avenatti to the list of powerful people she's helped to topple, though I will say all these men certainly aided in their own toppling. But in all of this, Stormy Daniels is out like $1 million from the swindling and the lawyer's fees, not to mention the pile-on of hate and harassment she says she's received from Trump supporters. Because let's face it, she's an easy target. A blonde bimbo porn star. The type of people who love Trump are the same type of people who love to hate women like that. That Venn diagram is just a circle. And judging by her Twitter feed, she hasn't had a break from the hatred for the last at least 5 years. But listen, when I get hate tweets, because Twitter is the 7th layer of hell, I usually ignore them. It's exhausting to respond to the haters, and I don't even have 1% of the haters that she has. But she's out here fighting the fucking fight. y'all. She is responding non-stop to things like people calling her a skank, which is an insult I haven't heard since middle school in the early 2000s, and people blaming her for being a homewrecker or for lying about the affair to begin with, because people love blaming the woman when two people agree to have sex with each other and one of them is married. It's always the woman's fault, okay? But also, looking at her Twitter feed, she seems to be doing all right. She identifies as a paranormal investigator / medium, which is unexpected, but I do love that for her. She has 1.2 million Twitter followers, and she has an OnlyFans, which I imagine can't be doing too bad. I mean, how many of those people who hate her also pay her $14.99 per month to see the boobs that their idol Trump also got to see? Okay? She's also directing adult movies. Like, despite all this, she's continued to stick to who she is, which is a big old slut, and stand up for herself, despite literal years of constant public evisceration. And you gotta admire that for what it is. As for this potential indictment against Trump, the one that's been years and years in the making, related to the affair that happened nearly 20 years ago at this point, and the hush money that came after, it's unclear whether an indictment would come down and what it would be for. The nature of federal grand juries is that they're secret, so we don't know. Sources are saying that he paid Cohen off through the Trump org and called it legal services, so it could be a misdemeanor falsifying business records charge that comes with a fine and a slap on the wrist. It could be a felony if they claim that he falsified business records in furtherance of a crime, which may come with jail time, but more likely would come with a fine and a slap on the wrist. While this potential indictment is unprecedented for a former president, to me it's frankly just a little warm-up for the potential other indictments coming down the pipeline in the form of election tampering and refusal to turn over classified documents, among others. But as with all things with Trump, he'll certainly pay his lackey lawyers lots of money to continue dragging their legal feet until he can get himself back in the White House and get his tiny, meaty hands on that sweet, sweet presidential immunity. And as I already explained in a recent video, even if he does somehow end up behind bars, that doesn't necessarily bar him from a presidential run. Go check out that video if you want to learn more. Thanks again to my partner on today's video, CuriosityStream. Reminder to click the link below or go to curiositystream.com/Leeja and save 25% right now. Thanks so much for watching. Have a good day. Bye-bye.